And here's Coach Rocky Long to have that discussion. Good morning, Coach.
Morning, guys.
Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
Doing really good. Thank you, Coach. So, Rocky, start us off with this. In your opinion, was your team, I'm going to use this phrase, shell-shocked by the size of the big house, the number of people that they were playing in front of? I mean, does that add to the nervousness and the uptightedness of a team?
I don't know if that was the case. I think it probably could. I don't know if that happened with us or not. Obviously, we didn't play well. We didn't play to our own expectation level, so we didn't prepare the right way, or we didn't have the right attitude going into the game, or guess what? Maybe Michigan's really good.
What do you think? You think Michigan's really good?
I think they're pretty good. I tell you what, that they're big and strong up front. They probably had a little advantage there, and then that quarterback is for what they do, when they put him in the spread, he's really, really good.
You think that playing in weeks past against the likes of an Army and a Cal Poly and having to prepare for those sorts of offenses and then switching it against Washington State, Michigan, does that play any role in being prepared for a game like Michigan?
Yeah, but I think other people have to do that. I think that the Washington State game was the biggest concern after playing two triple option teams. But we saw some spread stuff. I mean, Washington State's all spread. So when Michigan was about 80 or 90% spread, when they were in the spread, I mean, I think we were lined up right. Now, the biggest difference was Washington State didn't have that kind of quarterback with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, Rocky, it's kind of like the level of athlete was upgraded in addition to having to react to the different scheme on the offensive side of the football.
Well, I think obviously Michigan is a better team than Washington State. I mean, they proved it last year. They won their first 5 games last year. And they're proving it again this year. They're a quality football team. I don't know if they're elite yet, but they're a top 25 team for sure.
Yeah, we're talking to Rocky Long on Double X 1090 this morning on Scott BR. You know, I guess the thing is, a lot of us thought that Rich Rodriguez's crew at Michigan was recruiting a different type of athlete than the traditional Michigan athlete. And it sounds to me, Rocky, like what you're saying is they're still Michigan and they were still getting very much the cream of the crop. And Brady walked into a team that was much further ahead than what he walked into when you guys got here to San Diego State together.
I think that he walked into a program that athlete-wise was much further ahead than when he walked in here at San Diego State. But I do think they are going to change their recruiting. I think they were Michigan, or what I believe is Michigan up front. I think their defensive linemen and offensive linemen were like Michigan of the past. Now their skill guys, they'll get a different kind of skill guy because they want to be in the pro offense. So they'll get bigger, taller wide receivers. They'll get bigger, stronger running backs. The quarterback obviously will change. But, hey, they're smart coaches. If you got a special player at quarterback like they have, I'd keep running the same type of offense too.
Yeah, right on. We're talking to Rocky Long this morning, the San Diego State head football coach, coming off the loss against Michigan. And, Coach, how do you explain Ronnie Hillman fumbling twice in this game when this kid has been so incredibly reliable carrying the football?
Well, I don't know. I think all running backs will fumble from time to time. The first one, it's hard to see the one where he's in a pile, but when he breaks out and it looks like he's going to score and somebody catches him from behind, which doesn't happen very often, but someone catches from behind and hits him, I think he wasn't – I didn't know. I think he wasn't ready to get hit. I don't think he thought he was going to get hit. That's the first time I've ever seen him caught from behind. And I'm sure he didn't think he was going to get caught from behind either, so he was probably carrying the ball a little too loose, and it got knocked out.
Rocky, how do you reset this team right now? How do you get them turned around and have them forget what just happened and move on down the schedule?
Well, the number one thing is to stop talking about Michigan and move on to probably a more important game anyway, and probably a better football team anyway.
That's TCU. Mm-hmm. That's next week here, right?
Yep, that's TCU. They're probably a better football team than Michigan, and they'll come in. We played them pretty good or scared them a little bit last year, so they'll come in ready to play. And And I think their team speed's much better in Michigan's. Up front, they're probably equal to Michigan, so we're going to have to play our best game to have a chance to win.
All right, we're talking to Rocky Long on Double X 1090 this morning. San Diego State's got the week off, then TCU comes to town. Coach, the post-game locker room was described as the kids being devastated, and I'm not sure if that's really accurate. You were there, we weren't. You decided to make a choice, which was to not let the media have any exposure to the kids after the game. Why so?
Well, first of all, I never said they were devastated. I said it was very emotional in there, that some of them were depressed, some of them were upset. I never said they were devastated by any means, but I think it was a very emotional locker room. I didn't think that they would answer the questions the way they would want to if they were in a different state of mind. Everybody's got an opinion, and my opinion as a high school coach and a college football coach is part of your job is to protect those kids when you think that they might be in harm's way. A lot of people disagree with that. That's fine. We all have opinions. Let's get over it and move on.
I agree totally with it, Coach, only because there's nobody that knows this team better than you.
Well, I've been asked a lot about this lately, which I didn't think. I knew it'd be a big deal with those guys that it affects their job. They think they have rights to those kids, but I knew that was going to happen. I had a coach do it for me one time, and I really appreciated it.
Yeah, I guess the only flip side of it is forget about the guys who traveled and have a job to do. I mean, they can get quotations from you. I don't think their story is necessarily affected by not having a Ronnie Hillman comment or a quotation from Ryan Lindley. The only other thing I would ask you, though, is this. Is it a learning experience? Look, Ronnie Hillman's going to learn that next time he's got the ball in the open field, he's probably going to tuck it a little tighter. I mean, right? Maybe this was a learning opportunity for these kids, especially guys like Hillman and Lindley, who will likely have to face much tougher media if and when they get to the NFL.
Yeah, and then when they get to the NFL, that'll be part of their job. They're college students now. They're not getting paid unless you consider a scholarship being paid. They're not getting paid. It's not part of their job description. And I think Ronnie Hillman knows that when he busts out in the open, he's got to hold that ball tighter without having to answer questions from the media.
Yeah. And so how much of that, though, was pure protection? Or how much of it was what you just talked about, symbolic, in that a coach once did that for you, and you want your players to know that you'll take it for them?
I don't know. That's not why I did it. I mean, that wasn't my thought process. I thought that they were depressed or upset or something about the game, and I didn't think that they needed to be hounded or pounded again. I didn't do it for any symbolic reason whatsoever.
Hey, Rock, what'd you and Brady talk about briefly after the game?
Oh, good luck the rest of the way, and we're going to meet up in Phoenix sometime next spring.
What are you guys doing in Phoenix?
Probably just hanging out and being buddies.
Oh, I thought maybe you guys were planning on meeting in the Fiesta Bowl or something. That would be.
That'd be nice. I'd love it. I'd love another shot at those guys. In fact, I'm going to call them up and ask them if they want to reschedule again.
That would be amazing. Actually, that's a great idea. Wouldn't it be great to have Michigan come play here? And don't you think, if nothing else, guilt works. You should be saying to Brady Hoke, you owe us a game here in San Diego.
Well, that would be cool, but Brady's too smart for that. I mean, they got enough money there that they don't play any non-conference games away from home unless it's Notre Dame, and they'll pay everybody else to go there. I'm willing to go back there again because I think that this is going to be a blessing in disguise. I think our players learn from the experience, and we need to go back soon. Before it wears off.
Make that call, Coach.
Well, I'm going to call him and tell him now. I don't think Brady's pretty smart. He doesn't want to take that chance again.
Yeah, wouldn't you love another shot? Wouldn't you love another chance? I mean, Coach, you tell us, is there anything that you'll see in the Mountain West that is anything close to what you guys played in front of? I mean, I just can't think of anything. I've never been down to TCU. I don't know. I've never been to the stadium at New Mexico.
Are you talking about stadium-wise?
I'm just talking about, there's
110,000.
There's I've been lucky enough to be in several of those stadiums, and it's as good as any. There's some that compare to it. I mean, I would say Tennessee compares to it. I've never been to Notre Dame. They tell me Notre Dame compares to it. I'm sure Ohio State compares to it. I've been in the Rose Bowl for a UCLA SC game, and that compares to it. But it's as good as it gets, yeah.
Boy, that's what we need also. That's what we need, a San Diego State UCLA game in the Rose Bowl. Get those kids up in front of that crowd and in that stadium and bring some San Diegans up there with you. Hey, Coach, I know a lot of people didn't agree with it. I know it's become a big controversy, but we appreciate you sharing some thoughts with us on it this morning. And good luck. We'll talk to you next week before TCU.
Thanks, Rocky.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right.